Fantastic start. Hi guys, and welcome to GT7, something a little bit different today. So last week I took to the daily races, that they change every week, makes sense. And I thought I'd give it a go. As you can see, I've qualified in last place because I've not done this track ever really competitively on this game. So this should be interesting to see what we can do here. So we start the race now. And, it can only get better from here. We're starting from last, so... Oh, well, we've already moved up a position because I think someone was AFK, but they've got going again. I don't know where they were, but, it's a good idea to have your foot on the throttle at the start of a race. But anyway, coming into turn number 1, we pick up a few positions and we're up into P13, so it's been a good start, one corner, and we're already up 3 places. So, now we're just going to go defensive into this corner. There's a Ferrari behind us. Tries to go around the outside but runs out of grip, and now coming through this right-hander, not really using the track limits here. Again, quite new to the track, so wasn't really on par with these guys in terms of the track limits. Now coming into this corner, trying to double apex the corner a bit there, my approach, and now you can see we are just hanging back a little bit here, just like I say, getting used to the track, getting used to the car, and just seeing, what opportunities can be brought upon us. As you can now see into the final chicane there, the Ferrari left him a little bit of space, but he actually gets a little tap from the Ferrari behind us, and he picks up a 2-second penalty by the looks of it for his troubles, and he rage quits into the pit lane. I've never seen this before, where someone just drives into the pit lane, realises they're in the pit lane, and then turns and hits the wall. That is hilarious. But anyway, cutting on to the final lap now of this first race, it was pretty uneventful, to be fair. We've got a Ferrari behind us, and I don't know why people insist on just blinking their lights at you. I don't know if it's meant to put me off, but kind of doesn't. And I actually find when they do that, they tend to make mistakes themselves. But looks like here he's got a bit of a run on me now. As we come into the final sector, he's ducked back underneath me for a bit of slipstream. As my wheel pauses the game at the worst time, it loses momentum, and now he's got me. I don't really think I'm that confident on the brakes. I'm going to try maybe down the inside, but kind of a nothing move there. Pretty poor first race from us, but like I said, just learning the track, and we go again, and hopefully we can get a better result next time. So we've now changed the Ferrari 458 Italia, and immediately just felt way more comfortable with the car. So we're back in qualifying because we need to improve our position if we want a better chance in these races. So we come over the line and we set a 1 minute 27.9. I thought that was competitive, but I thought wrong because we are down in 13th place. We made up 3 positions. I mean, it's something, right? You have to take everything you get in these races. So it's a decent start once again. Just tucking into the slipstream now as we come into turn number 1. The guy in front of me has a pretty bad Wi-Fi connection, so we'll need to look out for that now. We come into turn number 1 and we have a Porsche on the inside of us, and he's absolutely just claiming the apex in the corner and running me out wide. I'm not going to say anything about what I think of those types of moves because it just seems like they're a part of racing now. But anyway, we're now down to last place, so fat lot of good qualifying did for us because we're now back in last place like we were in the last race. So we're actually in a better position this time last race. So yeah, not really worked out very well, so we're going to try and make up some positions here. I wasn't actually trying to go for an overtake there, but I was so late on the brakes I kind of had to. Otherwise, well, had a one-way ticket to a collision there. So now just trying to set... Again, my wheel pauses the game, which is pretty annoying. That's obviously a fault within my wheel. And now we've got a pretty good exit. We're on the back of this Merc, number 64, as we're going to try and go to the inside of this British driver. He's given us a little squeeze, but he's given us a gap there, so we're going to go for it. Down the inside, giving it a little tap there. And now we've got this Porsche all over us again. Oh, no, sorry, that's another Mercedes. And we're back down to 15th, so really need to get more aggressive in these races by the looks of it. I need to match the people around me here. They're quite aggressive and I'm just a bit too lenient, but again, I'm new to the track and I'm sort of learning it, so it's a work in progress. We're going to try and work our way up to the front by the end of the day. So now we have a Ferrari of space taking up all the space there as he goes down the inside. And now we're going to try and set ourselves up for a switchback, but the corner doesn't really allow for it. It's something that I learned and didn't really try again. But here I'm just trying to set myself up to get a better line through these corners. But it doesn't look like I can mount a challenge right now on space. So now you can see later on in the lap, someone's got a slowdown penalty, and that gives us a free position into 13th, which then becomes 12th, as I believe someone left the lobby. As now here on lap 3, you can now see space, and this guy, I'm trying to get involved in this battle by going around the outside. Doesn't really seem to work. I'm going to try and set myself up again for a switchback, but once again that corner doesn't really allow for it. But it looks like I've got on the throttle quite well there in comparison to this green car. I give space a little tap there, not really leaving him much space, and looks like the Frenchman in the green car has gotten past me. I believe that's a Porsche. So now we're going to try and go round the outside here, thinking on Max Verstappen in Mexico 2021, and I'm not going to achieve that. We're back down to last. And that was pretty much all there was for that race. I mean, we caught back up to space, but yeah, wasn't really my finest hour or my finest 7 minutes as we crossed the line for a pretty awful result. P12. So now we've gone back to qualifying once again. We're going to try and improve our time because we just need to get further up the grid. If I can get further up the grid, you know, I feel as though I can match their pace and just run away with the front runners and not get caught in these midfield battles where, you know, naturally they're a bit more aggressive than the guys up front. So anyway, right next to space again. So looks like me and this guy can't seem to keep away from each other in these races. But we're P9, we're in the midfield now. So coming into turn number 1. Gonna take it nice and easy. I'm not the type of person to just dive bomb at the start of races. This space literally gets knocked into space there. He's in bloody orbit right now. As that Ferrari behind us, he was the culprit, so I need to really give him a wide berth. Because I mean, I don't know if he had beef with space from the previous race, but that definitely seemed intentional to me. So anyway, I'm going to go defensive into this corner as he's going to try on the outside line as Alex Albon leaves the lobby, so I don't know if they were racing him too hard. But yeah, he's clearly not happy with this Grand Prix. As we're now heading through this second sector, and look at those guys up front. The quality of racing in these GT lobbies is horrible. As I join them, I've become what I hate. I've just hit that guy in front. Yeah, I just misjudged the closing speed there. Completely my fault. Someone else has rage quit from the lobby. That's Edwards, who rage quit into the pit lane, if you remember, in the first race. So be interesting. He's the dirty guy then. He's the guy knocking out drivers and driving into the pit wall for some reason. I will never understand that. But anyway, into the final corner now. So now as we cut on here, you can see all the guys there going off the track, exploiting the track limits, right? But I've got a track limit penalty for cutting that corner beforehand. So I don't understand what the deal is on this game with the track limits. It's like they're only monitored at some corners, and that's so stupid. It's like either all track limits are okay or none of them are okay. But by going like half in the middle, it just gets annoying because you have to start learning, you know, what track limits you can exploit and what track limits you can't exploit. As I have just made an absolute tool of myself in those last 2 corners, and I've just undone all my good work. I hit Edwards as well, so I'll probably get a nice little return from him later. But you can see now into this final corner, look how everyone just gallops over these corners. I mean, that's not the best example, but you'll see in these videos, like the track limits on this game are appalling. Why does it allow you to cut some corners, like fully cut them, but then other corners, it's like, nah, you can't do that. And then other corners, you can go fully off the track on exit. So it's really stupid. And it just makes it so you have to just learn what you can and can't do. And it's probably the reason why I'm so far off the pace, because I just don't know what I can and can't do with the track limits as of this moment. So, as we've seen quite a lot in this video, we are now behind space once more. As you can see, drivers going off the track here and getting no penalties whatsoever. Now I'm going to make sure I don't cut this corner this time, because that corner right there is the one you're not allowed to extend or cut, but then you're allowed to extend the track on the exit of that corner. It's so weird. So you can't cut the corner, but you can extend the track of the corner on exit. What? Who is behind the penalty system? I mean, the penalty system on this game is fucked either way, but that's just crazy. As you can now see, coming into the final sector of this race here, we're in P10, and it looks like P9 there. It's an interesting approach to the exit of that corner, taking track limits to the next level there, going to gravel, as we've got that position, and we should have him covered into this braking zone. He's a bit too far back to try anything. But I wouldn't put it past people in a GT lobby. But look at that. He just cuts that corner right behind me. He just cut that corner. He didn't slow down. And he's got no penalty for that. Yet I get the penalty for a very minor cut. It's just this weird thing with this game. Can they not monitor track limits properly? It's like the debacle that F1 had in like 2020 or 2021. I can't remember what year it was, where they were kind of sometimes monitoring track limits. Actually, I think I got the years all wrong. I think it was back in 2016, as that is more beef on the track there. But again, seems to be a free position for me as we head on to the final lap of this Grand Prix. I'm all over the back of Space. Once again, all this stuff can happen. There can be a zombie apocalypse, but me and Space will always end up on the same part of the track as I go for a pretty straightforward and clean pass down the inside. Quite rare to see in a GT Sport lobby, clearly. And now, for the rest of this lap, just kind of positioning my car in the right places there to hold on to this 6th place. And looks like we've done that very well without any major dramas. So we come over the line for our first, I'd say, decent result of the session. We come home in P6, 11 seconds off the pace, but it's not bad. So now I've gone back to qualifying once again because I want to improve my position further. So coming up to the line, pretty poor exit out the final corner, but we will have a marginal improvement, and let's see where that will put us on the grid as we head to the next Grand Prix. And we are P6. Okay, we're in our finishing position of the previous race. So this is a very good chance for us now to get in amongst the front runners and really get in the fight and hopefully pick up some better results, perhaps even a podium. But we'll have to wait and see. It's all about the start. I seem to be pretty bad at starts on GT. I'm just not aggressive enough. I just want to stay out of trouble, and in doing that, I just let people overtake me. So we need to try and improve on that. So we're now coming through this first sector, and I'm being shoved by someone else. I've just been crowded off the track, and now I've got someone else down the inside because I've lost momentum. So not a good start, but we'll see what we can do from here, as we're trying to still fight with this guy, but he just uses the track and overtakes someone off track. But he's not going to get a slowdown penalty. Of course he's not. As now I go down the inside of this guy. I'm a little bit forceful with that. Yeah, not very clean from me. But hey, I'm just matching the skill in this lobby. Or, yeah, this sport lobby. As now I knew he was going to go down the inside, so I gave him space because I did feel bad about shoving him off. So, but you can see he's pretty salty. This guy, he's pissed off. You know, it's an ego thing, isn't it? You know, and now he's giving me a little boost as well, so that's going to piss him off even more. Yeah, I feel like he's going to do something stupid into this final chicane, so I decided to give him a very, very big pocket of space there, and he still feels the need to hit me. And now I'm being overtaken by this guy down the inside, and it looks like this other guy in the blue car is going to complete a double overtake by the looks of it. And we're down to P10. 6th to 10th at the end of the first lap. I'm not really improving, am I, on my starts, but now it looks like we're going to have an absolute... It's going to be a clusterfuck into turn 1. I am not getting involved in this. Going to get on the brakes early, take the outside line, and just let the others mess around. And I've just been taken out by a Mercedes that had nothing to do with that battle. And look, there's Space again. Me and Space are next to each other. Isn't that funny? Well, maybe not, because I've got this green Porsche, which we haven't seen him in a while, down my inside. And he's got the position. Brilliant. What great defending from me. Someone there saying good luck. It's a little bit late into the race. You should be focusing on driving me. And it looks like that Porsche's got a penalty. Don't know what that was for. I think that guy behind was just trying to take me out. I think he's had a bad race. and he just saw the first person he could see he was just going to take out there. So thankfully he missed, and hopefully he will quit the lobby and get out of these races. But anyway, this guy ahead of me for P10 pulls over to the right there, very gentleman of him to do that, to take his slowdown penalty. I mean, they ghost either way, but look at the liberties that they're taking with the track limits there, just cutting the corners, but somehow getting away with it. So coming through the final corner now, let's see if we can do something into turn number 1. Getting the slipstream, but of course the slipstream effect is quite weak with these cars. So we're heading up through the gears now into turn number 1. Are we going to try an audacious one on the brakes? This is the guy I believe who took me out the previous lap at this corner, so it'd be quite fitting, but looks like I'll live to fight for another day. But he gets a little bit loose on the exit there. Looks like I'm actually going to set up the switchback successfully this time. I'm going to go down the inside. He tries to cover me off, but he covers me off too late. I go down the inside, and it looks like without any major dramas I might be able to pull this one off. But no, I don't have the grip by the looks of it, and he gets back through again, but I'm not done yet. I'm going to try and go down the inside now into this corner, but he, I have to say, covers me off very well there. That was very good driving from him. But he's got a slowdown penalty. He might have cut that corner that I got a penalty for. So it looks like this will be yet another free position. It's like every single lap, if you can just drive consistently, you're likely to gain on the cars ahead, or at least gain a position, because they're likely to get, someone's likely to have gone too far and will get a slowdown penalty. So we've overtaken him now. We're up into P9, and look at the battle that we are now involved with into turn number 1. Someone's going to do something stupid, surely. I'm going to go down the inside, and I once again misjudged the turn in there with the space, and contact is made, and looks like, yeah, he's not too happy about that. He's understeered into me, as we've got space ahead of us. Looks like we're going to have another battle with space. Come on. Like, you think that's enough revenge? Like, Jesus Christ, man. Some people just don't know when to stop. Anyway, we're behind the green Porsche, who once again has a... I believe it was him who had another slowdown penalty earlier, so I'm going to go round the outside of him, use the karting line, sort of dance around the outside, but doesn't seem to work this time around. Turns to the inside, but yeah, we're not going to go for it into that corner. It's barely a braking zone, so it'd be hard to outbrake our opponent, but I'm going to try and get the switchback here, but he's got a slowdown penalty anyway, so it's kind of pointless, but he is slowing me up a little bit. He pulls over to the side again. Nice thing to do there, to pull over to take your slowdown penalty, just to not, you know, put people off when they're right behind you. But anyway, now we're all over the back of space, and this other Ferrari on the final lap of the Grand Prix. I'm going to try and go for a switchback here. Now we're side by side going down this straight as we head into the final sector of this Grand Prix. Space has a slipstream. I've now got a double slipstream from these guys. What are we going to do into this final corner? I might let them battle it out and just see what opportunities they may bring to me. But Space is a very, very good overtake around the outside there. I'm trying to take advantage too. There's contact all around. This is so messy. It's not good racing for sure. We're all just hitting each other. What the hell is going on? But it looks like Space is going to hang on to this one. And we are going to go almost 3 wide over the line. But it's P8 from, I believe, P6. So another poor performance from me. But anyway, we didn't qualify again. And we've headed straight into another race. We've dropped 1 position down to 7th. But we're going to see if we can, you know, make up for our lack of performance so far. And hopefully just get in amongst these battles and actually win. You know, stop getting, you know, thrown around. As we come into turn 1. The fuck? Fart and Furious blasting his way through here. Let's see, he'll be one to look out for. I don't want to be tucked underneath him. Heaven knows what gases are coming out of his exhaust. But anyway, we're coming into this corner now. Yeah, just going to try and pick my moment here as he's all over the grass there. Now coming through this left-hander. And now a right-hander. Can I do anything? I don't think I can here, but he's actually gone on the gravel and he's come back on the track very dangerously there, and we just hit him. Luckily though, I think the game has recognised that that was an unsafe re-entry to the track, and I do not pick up a penalty as a result, so that's good that the game acknowledges that. I know I've been quite critical of the game's penalty system, but that was good. As now you can see here another slowdown penalty for the driver here, and we are now up into P4. So, you know, with the the three cars in front battling quite a lot. We could be on for a podium here, or even the win. On the last lap here, you can see Henry there tried to go down the inside, gave him a bit of space there. Now he's trying to set himself up to the switchback, but doesn't seem to be able to do it. I'm going to go defensive to the middle of the track. He very cleverly darts back to the outside to try and get a cutback as third place there, spinning out, and that has gifted me a podium here on the last lap. I've not had a sniff of it the whole race, but in saying that now, I've got this guy coming down the inside of me. I'm going to let him tab the inside. I'm going to brake early and set myself up for a switchback, which I execute quite nicely, but he, with the karting line, has just danced around the outside of me. Very good driving from both of us here. This is some good racing. I'm going to try and go around the outside, but unfortunately I don't have enough grip. And second place leaves the lobby. I'm back up into the podium, but then I get dive bombed by this Ferrari. The one who had the slowdown penalty just a lap ago that I gained the position from. And now coming into this final corner, I've just lost the podium. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to let them battle it out. I'm just going to set myself up to get the best line possible out of this corner and see what might be able to happen. And they are hitting each other, and I'm going to drive straight through the gap that they have created for me up into second place, but it's not over yet. Into the final corner, he's going to go deep and try and do the cutback, so I'm going to park on the apex here, block his path through on the inside. He gives me a boost and blinks his lights at me in frustration, but we finish second. Now that is more like it. So now we cut back to qualifying. I wanted to improve my position further, because I've seen now that when I'm at the front I can really live with these guys and pick up some good results. So for this race we've gone back to qualifying and I've done a 26.5 and I'm now P3 in this race. So well, you know, we're starting quite close up front in the last race. We're even closer up front this race. This should be an absolutely exhilarating race now as we gain control of the car. As we head into turn one, we've got a Brit and a Spaniard in front of us, so we need to try and battle past them, and we should be able to get a victory if we can just keep it clean and if we have good pace as well. We've got a Red Bull livery Ferrari behind us. It's quite weird to look at. He's all over the back of us here, but you can see now just trying to find our groove, and the Brit they're getting all out of shape ahead of us, but we're just trying to find our groove early on in this Grand Prix. And you know, as we speed up the footage here, and there's not really much happening, is there? But I'm sure something will happen on this final lap here. So, you know, something always does. Huh. Well, that was the most boring, anticlimactic thing. But, I mean, we get another podium, so it's not all bad, is it? The two guys ahead of us were just too fast. That's plain and simple. They were just too fast for us. So now we've gone back to qualifying again. We've improved our time, but I wanted to go even further here. And I think at this point, I know the track fully. You know, I know my way around it. I know how to be fast. And I've just got into a little bit of a groove, just really calm and relaxed on this lap. I was really, really calm. And you can see here, I'm just finding time now, coming into this corner, braking down, trail braking into first gear, bringing the car over to the left as much as possible to then throw it into this right-hander here to pick up the best exit, using the track limits on exit because the game allows you to. And now, coming through this corner, sort of a double apex corner, and you can see I go out wide and then I cut back in. I don't know if that was the fastest way, but it was the way I found more comfortable. You get more of a slingshot out the corner. And now coming through this left-hander here, using all the... not using all the road on exit, but we still got a really good exit out of that corner there, carried a lot of speed. Now here, slamming on the throttle, nearly dipping wheel in the gravel there. Yeah, I got the turn in a little bit wrong, so I've lost a bit of time here. But now coming into this final chicane, you know, you're allowed to cut this chicane so much, so we've just got to take advantage of that as much as possible. Late on the brakes, we hop over the curb and then over the next one. And we've actually lost a bit of time there because I sent it a lot harder on the previous lap. Now you can see here into the final corner, it's a nice corner there, slamming on the throttle. You've got to be so, you've got to be very assertive with the throttle on this game. You can get a lot of grip. And it was a 26-1, and that is our first pole position. So, you know, you look back to the start of the video, we qualified last, and now we're up to first. So it's good progress that's been made. So you can see here now, starting the Grand Prix We've got Alex behind us. There's quite a few new names here. I think a lot of people have gone off at this point. But you can now see we've got Alex behind us as we have a half a second lead into turn number 1. Just going to take it nice and easy here. Just pretty much try and run our own race. That's kind of the way I like to do this when I'm in the lead. I just kind of forget that those guys are around me. Try and run my own race like it's a qualifying session and build up a gap and then use that to my advantage. Just take the pressure off a little bit. But in saying that, I was just generally really relaxed here. Just, like I say, doing my own thing. And you can see he's blinking his lights at me behind. Don't really know what that's going to do. It's not putting me off. He'll probably put himself off because he has to keep making the effort to blink his lights and he goes off there. And actually, I've just picked this up. I thought that was a mistake, but I think it was actually the Lambo Vale behind him who took him out there. So that's definitely unfortunate for him, but it's given me a decent lead here, 7/10 in front, as we are nearing the end of lap 1 here. And pretty much you can see Vale there gets a load of karma, makes a big mistake and just dropped to 8th place now. And generally, guys, we were just, I don't know, we're just really focused. We were really locked in and just setting the times. You know, we've had a lot of action in this video so far, a lot of incidents, a lot of good racing, good battles, but I think it was about time that we had a nice race up front, just dominating the way. And you can see Alex behind, not really making an impression. He's maintaining the gap to me, but yeah, he's just making a few minor errors, and I was pretty faultless in this race. I'd say he was faster than me, but again, if it's one thing to be fast, it's another thing to be consistently fast, and unfortunately he just was not as consistent as me. But that's unfortunate for him, but for us, it's very nice. Coming through this final chicane here, not taking any risks, just bringing it home, don't want any penalties. You can see into the final corner, accelerate out, and that is our first win. I think one of our first wins in this league, in the B League, so B tier, so that's pretty good for me. I'm happy with that. So unfortunately I was a pleb and I didn't save the replay, so I kind of wanted to do another race. I was pretty confident that I'd get pole position anyway, because that lap that I'd done was pretty good for B tier. I think it would be pretty competitive even in the next tier up in A tier. So yeah, another pole position for me. And I just wanted to do this race because I wanted to get a replay of me winning, because I just forgot to save it. So you see now through turn 1, it's all very nice. And then turn 2, very calm. Just calm and relax. Just got to be really cool, calm and relaxed, and not feel the pressure too much. I mean, it's easier said than done, but you just gotta, you know, just be relaxed. Smoothness on this game is really rewarding. Sliding on this game loses you so much time, so you really have to adapt. And you can see second place there all over the back of me, blinking his lights at me. And pretty much it looks like I'm going to have a much more tougher task here, because I haven't been gifted a bit of a lead from the guys behind me messing around. But you can see he's gone a bit wide there, and yeah, once again the gap was just kind of hovering around like 7-8 tenths. He was just making more mistakes than I was, but admittedly I think he was faster than me. But I think generally when you're the car behind, you're always going to drive faster because you've got like a target ahead of you, so it kind of motivates you a bit more, whereas when you're the guy in front, you're just kind of more focused on keeping it clean and consistent. Hence why you can see I think he is faster than me in this race, but luckily I was able to just hold my nerve, and you can see now I've actually opened the gap up to 8 tenths here. So once again, it's not going to take any risks into this final chicane. Very nicely taken. Whacked the bollard a little bit there. Got me through the final corner. It's going to be back-to-back wins in sport mode, which is a very nice feeling. Gone from barely any wins in B tier to absolutely dominating the last 2 races. And that is a very well-deserved win for myself. So yeah, just overall, got to learn this track, and yeah, I was really finding a lot of pace and was really enjoying myself. So now we go to a nice and... oh, hang on. Why have I gone back to the... Oh no. Don't tell me. It hasn't counted that race result. For whatever reason, this was me in the previous race that I'd won. It's not the one I've just won, but the previous one. The first of the 2 wins. And you can see now, after the race, we're just going to speed up the footage. You can see. We go back to the main screen. And you can now see those are our results. 37 races, 4 wins, and 20 top 5 finishes. Right, so remember that. And now, cutting back to the win that we've just been robbed from. So, just waiting now. Any moment now. There we are. And we go back to the screen. And we're still on 37 races, 4 wins and 20 top 5 finishes. So we've just been shafted out of a win. Thanks very, very much, Polyphony. That is just brilliant. So what happened was I went out of sport mode. I was quite a lot of shock at this point. I was just like, has that actually just happened? Have I really just been shafted out of a win? Just kind of thinking like, what the hell? I was in a very calm mood, but I was thinking, really? Really? Are you actually going to do that to me? So I go back in and seeing what's happening. And now they have updated it. They've got it from 37 races to 38, 21 top 5 finishes from 20, but I've still only got 4 wins. So it's counted me as having done the race, finished in the top 5, but nah, fuck you, I'm not going to give you the win. Well, that's a joke.